Hey, welcome back, y'all. I'm going to go on this one pretty good, pretty quick here for the most part, because it's really absolutely ridiculous, and it's really they have nobody to blame but themselves because they let this start going on. To my knowledge, really in 2016, when the first time you actually seen that was this whole Antonio Brown situation. Let me just get this. Let me get the pleasantries out the way. Antonio Brown is probably the best wide receiver in the game. All right, for a guy his size, his backstory, and all that stuff like that, that's fine, that's cute. Numbers, he has Hall of Fame numbers and everything like that. But this is where things are starting to get completely ridiculous. And we go back to 2016, after 2016 season, and the incident and the situation that ended up happening with him and the Facebook chatting, the timing that he's doing Facebook Live, and while Mike Tomlin is giving a speech to his team after the victory they had against Kansas City. And I think I want to say the divisional game, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and whatnot. I've just recently found out here that the altercation that led to Antonio Brown benching last week was when Ben Roethlisberger, I guess it was during practice or whatever, it was a fairly ugly exchange between him and the quarterback, and said the wide receiver was totally wrong. He went AWOL essentially for the third time this season. They say it's dating back to that training camp. Now, having said that, this is why I go back, see, because Mike Tomlin has always been known as that of a player's coach, right? Which that's a good thing, and then it becomes a bad thing and whatnot. And I've already kind of seen little things that happen because even when he was all of these things was going on just the other, just after this stuff had happened and whatnot. And James Harrison is somebody that's kind of go on these shows now, which kind of funny to me, being that his personality never really thought it would be one of them guys even be on shows like that. And after his little ugly departure last year and how he left and all this other kind of stuff and what happened. And then they call themselves clowning Mike Tomlin. I found that really interesting. I really do. But I might speak up on that a little bit later on. I might make another show about that and how some of these players and whatnot you really, I've seen guys get cut for a lot of things, all different colors or whatever. I really have never sit up there and really seen so much of where they call themselves clowning a coach, while white players clown a Belichick or clown that of any of these coaches that's out here and whatnot. I'm starting to sit up there and see it like it's this trend of we gonna clown black coaches. Of course, y'all gonna sit up and say, oh, it's racial, this, there, it ain't no red. I'm like, why would they do that? I'm like, James Harrison basically clowned Mike Tomlin, and now you got Antonio Brown and James Harrison clowning him during the press conference that he had Wednesday addressing addressing Antonio Brown's situation. I find that interesting, and everything with that. But that's another story. That's really another story though. I just find that interesting though. I just thought of that. But yeah, so with Antonio Brown though, I was like, Tomlin, he's gonna have to take the hit for that. The things that's going on with his team, whether it be Roethlisberger or whatever the case may be, when it comes to that, he needs to get it. I think he's a phenomenal coach, and he does a lot. And this is unfortunately happened. What's sad is that Antonio Brown's behavior and what he's done, nobody said anything about that, but everybody was making a big stink about Le'Veon Bell getting his money and making a big issue about that, and he's not even on the team. And even Ben sit up there and say, well, that was a bit of a distraction. It's a distraction because you let these reporters shove mics up in your face and you open your big mouth when it has nothing to do per se with football, in the sense of if you are getting ready for a game, you talk about the game. I'm not talking about another man, his money. We wish him the best. We wish he was here. We got to play with who we got here. Move on. But everybody got to have a comment when them mics are set up, is put in the jokers' faces, and the whole dynamics changes. Now it just so what does he and they're bringing his name up? He wasn't there all season. He already had dug in, so it's not his fault. Y'all went on still. Connor ended up being a Pro Bowl running back and whatnot, and y'all getting some good production out of number 38, the rookie, who some other teams need to be checking him out. Again, I can't think of his name on top of my head, but some other teams need to be checking him out. The kid's nice. Yeah. So it's like, now you want to drag him back in it when he hasn't said anything. He hasn't been there all season. You follow? These guys do this stuff to themselves on purpose. Then it's the guys inside of the And then it's the other players that's in the locker room that talk to these different reporters and tell them all and get all the juicy tidbits when technically you don't even supposed to be talking to them and putting that type of information out there. But we know that all happens. Okay, so back to AB, which is what this is basically all about. At the end of the day, like I said, going on with Tomlin, this starts up top. Mike Tomlin doesn't sign checks. Mike Tomlin doesn't issue out checks. Insofar as writing his name and signing checks. That's the Rooney family. They knew what they were getting in 2017 when they gave him that big money. Right? And has he performed? Of course he's performed. He's a dog. He's one of the best in the business. But now, what are you complaining about now? You still caught 15 touchdown passes. Over 12, almost 1,300 yards, receiving yards. Almost 100 balls, right at 100 balls. What is the problem now with you? Why? And then, this is not even the issue. One of the major issues that really freaks me out with this whole thing, with this guy, because he seems to be a likable guy and all this other kind of stuff. But I mean, this guy, what he had, guy had 104 catches, 1,297, and 15 touchdowns to lead the league. What else do you want, man? Oh, you mad at Juju, your boy on the Pizza Hut commercials? There's an issue with that. You want all the balls? You can't get all the balls. Like somebody said, this ain't basketball. It takes a lot of different moving components to get you the ball. You follow what I'm saying? You were still targeted 168 times. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, so what we talking about here, man? What are you going on about? What is the problem? And that's because it's real simple. And for him to bolt and leave, he left after the supposed incident with him and Ben. He left. He left. Dude, let me tell you something. In the line of work that I'm in, or anybody in for that matter, right? When you mess around and when you don't come into work, when you do a no call, no show, where I'm from and the things that I've seen over the years, that's automatic termination. You're done. You're finished. There's no explanation. Your check will be in the mail. We'll see your check will be in the mail. If you got a uniform or whatever like that, send the uniform to us, or we're gonna deduct it from your last check. You're done. NFL, or that is his job. And that's why a lot of these guys who come from poverty-stricken families and whatnot, because their mothers worked a lot of fathers, or they didn't have this and didn't have that, so don't really have an idea on money and different types of responsibility. All they know how to do is go screw off money, and that's pretty much about it. And the only thing that they got knowing about what they're supposed to do with money, what they think they're supposed to do with money, is through these rappers on rap videos, who also in a lot of cases come from nothing and didn't have nothing and don't know how to do anything but the other generation before them to sit up there and throw money in the air and do whatever you go do. You do what you want to do with it. But my fact, no responsibility. See, what these guys got to realize is that this is their job. And what happens is because you're in the entertainment world, it's a different set of rules until somebody gets extremely tired with it. Meaning that in the regular Joe Schmo world, out here as a regular Joe the carpenter, a Joe the plumber, you know what I'm saying, or Peggy the accountant or whatever like that, if you pull some stuff like that, you're done. But if you got $20, $30 million in the bank, it's not a big deal to you. I'll just leave. Now, what needs to happen is that they need to recoup that bread. Now, people say that's going to be $21 million of dead money. So what? If you leave him on the team, it's going to still be a problem because he's not changing, dude. And the only way you affect guys like that is through their pockets. That's the only way you're going to get through with him. That's the only way. It's in his pockets. It's to let them know it's like, nah, we don't need you. And that's all they got to do. That's why you don't hear this kind of mess go on at the New England Patriots. Yeah, I'm like, you could talk shit about Belichick and them guys all they want, but they in it every year. And you don't hear this kind of mess. As soon as Randy Moss try to pull that silly shit back in because he feels as though I'm getting it open for Wes Welker to start repping, you need to pay me some money. They cut him. Just like that. And that was the end of Moss as we knew. He went and flooded around in Tennessee for a hot second, and then got and kind of somewhat got it together and got a chance to play in the Super Bowl with the 49ers. But that was it. That was the last year of Moss as you knew. You follow what I'm saying? I think that was a 2009, 2010 season, something like that, to that effect. Period. When you start, so the Rooney, because that they're becoming a poster child of a mess over the past couple of years, and that starts at the top. That has nothing to do. Coaching is going to take a bite of that, and in the players, in the disrespect. But I'm like, Tomlin needs to get their room back together. But at the same time, the Antonio Brown situation, I'm Rooney, I'm cutting his ass. He's done in Pittsburgh. Just that simple. And I'm going to try to recoup some of that money if I can. If I can't, I'm not going to worry about it, but I'm going to go in on it. They have to deal with the NFL collecting bargaining and all that kind of stuff. That, if that was to happen, I'd try to collect that bread, but I would send him on his way. Because what is he then doing for other players to sit up there and see this particular type of behavior? That if I'm an all-pro, whatever, I can act this way on this team anytime I want to. You follow what I'm saying? And that's why these guys become expendable to an extent, or that's why they perceived a certain kind of way and whatnot. But Antonio, then he's going to sit up there and say that, pull that long, even though I have free will to do this, that, yeah. Well, the Rooneys have free will to cut you and try to recoup some of that money and send you on your way to somebody else. Because I honestly don't believe he might catch lightning in the bottle, but normally in situations like that, it doesn't really end up pretty. It doesn't end up good. A few cases like T.O. and stuff like that, yeah, you can go somewhere else and resurrect and Moss and guys like that or whatever. But it's oftentimes cases, especially something that nasty, when it didn't really have to be that way. And it's already been reports of him going AWOL because this is nothing new. That's like you leaving your job. I'm out. I don't like what's going on. I don't like the supervisor telling me this, that, and the other. I'm gone. And then want to come back and play Sunday and have your agent call the coach. And then you found you wasn't playing, you sit them, and then you're going to leave at halftime. You're on the sideline, you want to leave at halftime. Go. They need to go. And when he left, the Rooney should have sit up there, leave your card. Come in there. We need to see you right up in here right now. Give us your access card or whatever. Get your shit out of the locker and send him on his damn way. That's how you need to do it, and that's what tighten up a lot of the stuff around there. But if you continue to let this type of behavior go on, this is what you're dealing with, and this should never even happen. And he shouldn't even be there. I'm just shocked that he's carrying it like that. And everybody keep telling Derek Money, nah, then lose it. I don't need that. We don't need that kind of behavior, and that's something Pittsburgh was never known for, never. And they need to have a talk with Ben and tell him to shut his damn mouth. He ain't got much time left. He need to shut his mouth and be a quarterback that just shut up, dude, and play football. These guys, I tell you, man, privileged. All that bullshit, privileged, man. It's ridiculous, man. And AB, I lost a lot of respect for that dude, and I've lost tons of respect for James Harris in the way that in what he calls himself. They clowning Tomlinson for what? You clowning him for what? What did you honestly think Belichick got you for? To play, for you to give them secrets to play, because they honestly thought, just like Pittsburgh thought, that we was going to see them in the AFC Championship game. Come on, man. Get real with that. These guys are ridiculous, man. And you clowning him? Now you got Baker Mayfield running down there clowning Hugh Jackson? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I just find it funny, but I just that little thing, I find that really funny, them clowning them, and I can't really recall white players when they get traded or cut and going to another team, really clowning the coach after he said X, Y, and Z. Never really seen that. I could be wrong. Put it down in the description box, let me know, and in the comments or whatever, and let me know what's up. But I could have missed that. But it's long enough on that rant on that clown AB. Whatever he made, man, I said tons of respect lost for that cat. Even more for them. And these guys are probably future Hall of Famers. Tons of respect. But at the end of the day, with AB, you keep it up, you ain't gonna get no ring, partner. You won't get a ring. And if you do, you might luck up and get one when your career is completely over when you thought of it as a third or fourth receiver. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all, I'll be back in a little bit. Like I said, there is no GOAT, no greatest of all time, as long as time is still going on. Oh, yeah, And y'all need to give up that all that GOAT moniker with everybody. I'm gonna say it right now. That comes from LL Cool J. I know Muhammad Ali always says he's the greatest of all time, but he didn't use the moniker GOAT like LL did on one of his albums called GOAT back in, I think, 2000. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that whole GOAT moniker, but like I said, no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. Y'all have a good one. Be back later.